A print company, they offered a refill glass of liquid soap, and it was personalized with your name. When I saw it, I said to myself, this is something that I would keep. We use one common and same medium, helmets. Creating that project enabled me to making collaboration with artists, also to communicate on another subject, technological innovation in printing. So that technology would enable industrial companies to personalize directly. That changed the way you consume.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for welcoming me today in Monaco.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, you've got a beautiful space here. Yeah.
Yes.
It's only for a month, you said, right?
Yes, that's 4 months. It's an exhibition that started beginning of June, and it's ending the 10th of July.
Are you always around Monaco?
I'm either in Switzerland or in the Riviera.
All right, because you also have a space in Central Devance.
No, I don't have a space at the moment in Saint-Paul-de-Vence. I'm exhibiting punctually at this moment. I don't have an official place at this moment.
And what is it that you do here for this month?
So there is the main exhibition, which is a collaboration with artists. So we use one common and same medium, helmets. We have on one hand triathlon helmets sponsored with Abu brand, and another helmet which is for horse riding, and the sponsor is Uvex Equestrian. So on both helmets, the artists are challenged to design on it directly. So in a way, it's a window to their own universe.
Yeah, and you. Okay, got it. And what is the challenge? Is there something in particular, or is it just create something with a helmet?
So in a way, it's a symbolistic way to bring awareness on the importance of using a helmet when you ride a bicycle, and a quality one in preference.
And how do you see that happen? So how do you raise that awareness?
How do I?
How do you raise the awareness using the helmets?
The simple perspective of bringing the art helmet, a common helmet, and leveraging it as a range of artwork. To me, it's seen differently than an everyday equipment gear. That way, you can see it more in a fun way and appreciate it with some designs that are really surprising from an artist to another, and it speaks as well according to each community or each lifestyle, and so there is a variety of it. There is an artist, for example, who is creating with material from the sea. So, and his way of communicating about it is raising awareness on ecology, and so that type of helmet can be interesting for people who are interested in that type of subject.
And what is your role then in a project like this, for example?
I'm at the same time curator of the project, and at the same time, to me, it's a way to also bring interest into artists that are emerging, and also to communicate on another subject which I had in heart. It's an innovation, technological innovation in printing that I've been working since more than 2 years. And for that project, it's a long-term project that will enable people to personalize their object or having also more than object equipment for mobility. So it will be so that technology would enable industrial companies to personalize directly during the chain of the manufacturing process. And that way we would be able to switch from the mass production to the personalization personalized production, sorry.
But isn't there I mean, you do have printing techniques, right? To print on basically any surface.
Yes, there is a different way to print at this moment. There is mostly for flat surfaces and also for even surfaces, but not uneven. And on uneven surfaces, you have also a way to print, which is applying a layer of plastic, but that is not an ecological way. And through this new technology, you would enable the head of the print directly to spray on the surface.
All right. So how would so what is it that you do then in this particular project? You came up with the idea and you are trying to develop that technology. Do I understand that?
Yes, that would require some R&D. So at this moment, the concept has been validated by the head of the automation of a university in Switzerland. So we did as well a patent research. And so I found already my partner, collaborator for the commercial launch. But still, I need to raise funds.
All right. How much funds are you raising then?
1.5 million Swiss franc.
Okay. So that's quite a lot. And with that money, what is
That's not that much for a new technology, in fact. And it would take.
It's a lot.
Yes, I mean for personal reason maybe, but for an industrial technology which enable to improve the way we consume and the way we produce, that's totally reasonable, in fact.
Yeah, and how would it change then the world that we have today? So.
Well, to give you an example. It struck me the first time that I was invited by a print company, and they offered a refill glass of liquid soap, and it was personalized with your name. And when I saw it, I said to myself, "This is something that I would keep in my bathroom." Okay. And so it further than having it in your place, in your home, that change the way you consume. You will use only the refilled because you have something that you like and something that you have personalized on your own. You're part of the process of creation. So it's going further than something that you just buy and consume. It's as simple as that.
Mm. So by personalization, you think people keep products longer?
That's a fact. That has been statistically proved.
Okay, That's good.
Yes.
And how does it affect the environment? I would say then in the entire technology, what is it using less or more?
So less plastic, for instance, and there will be by using directly the paint and in a more precise way, there will be less use of paint as well. And the fact that it's a product that will be personalized even in automotive industry, that way you would keep your car longer as well. And for industrial companies as well, it's really interesting for them. That it will help them to gain more share of comment on dit ça, part de marché in English.
Sorry?
Part de marché.
Part de marché?
Market share.
Ah, yeah. Sorry.
Sometimes it's so obvious.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. I mean that's an economical.
Yes,
benefit,
but the economy, in order to change the habits, and at the high level, you need to bring the money in the subject, and by convincing companies that it's a win-win situation. That's how you can push them to change the way they produce.
So let's take an example: the automotive industry. How would you then use this technology for the automotive industry? Do you?
You have around
printing. Sorry,
for example,
is printing, by the way, like personalization, such as something like this, or printing as in what you see with 3D printing?
So it's not at all 3D printing. You will have robot arms that would print directly on the surface of the parts of automotive. At this moment, we have several layers that are that enable to cover the surface because you have to apply layers of protection, and by finding the right painting that would apply directly on the part, and not spraying, but directly reaching the point of the part, that would reduce as well the amount of painting, even for the planes as well. They consume a lot of painting, or also aero for the space part. The norms of the painting is really high, and in order to have the painted that is sustainably painted, they apply an amount. It's completely crazy, the number of liter of paint that is going nowhere, because they spray in. It's like a nuage. How do we say a nuage?
It's a cloud.
It becomes just like a cloud, and only a few is reaching the surface.
Yeah, but hasn't that to do with the amount of how would you say that? So what I do remember from a conversation with someone else.
Yes.
He talked about how paint has gotten worse and worse over the years, but it is because of all the ecological reasons, because we need to use water-based paint, and then we kind of need to make it thinner, so that kind of results in more mist and loss of paint. So theoretically, if you would have used the for example, lead-based paint, that would have stuck better to a certain surface and would have lasted for longer, and you would have a lot less loss of paint. So I think, isn't it true that the loss of the current used paint, because it has been so much thinner than it used to be? Don't you think?
I'm not sure about the answer of your question. What I'm sure is that the application of the painting would be different with that robot.
Yeah.
At this moment, it's different layers that are applied, and you do a coating in order to fix the painting. There is a UV cure that would fix the more sustainably the painting after. So definitely it would be more sustainable and less painting on during the process wasted.
Yeah, and because it's a big problem in the world, by the way. I'm not very familiar with this subject, but is paint causing a lot of?
Yes, it's a big environmental problem and even yes. Oh.
Yeah, it is.
It's a fact.
Good. So how is that project connected to the gallery that you do?
Oh, that's a good question. Creating that project enabled me to start from now collecting artwork and making collaboration with artists. And that way we could propose a range of variety of artwork or design or illustration that could be used for product or for parts.
Can you give an example? The helmets, is that an example?
The example for a helmet, it can be a collaboration that is already happening. For example, behind you, you have a Dominica Leccia artwork. So her artwork can be, for example, scanned, and then we can make a small series out of it and enable each artist to have royalties on each sales.
But isn't the value of an artwork in the manual process as well, don't you think? Or you create something and then you sort of mass produce it?
It's for in that case it can be personalizedly printed at order, so it's not mass production anymore.
Okay, but if you copy it and then print it, then it becomes mass production.
It's never mass production because with this machine it can be printed for one or several pieces. When I speak about a series, it's not printed at the same time in block. I mean series numbered. That each order become number one, number two, etc. until we end the series.
Okay, all right. And does she then, or this particular artist, did this artist created this design and then it was painted on the helmet, or was it specifically created for the helmet?
So it was painted directly on the helmet. That's the particularity of this collection.
Yeah.
And just to give you an input on this experience of collaborating with artists, this is funny because most of the artists who accepted this challenge are women. The way I explain it, I think the women brain probably have more facility to imagine, to bring together imagination and object.
So most of the artists are women.
Yes, most of the artists who accepted that challenge of painting on a helmet.
Yeah. Okay. So how many artists do you work with now then in the current exhibition?
On this exhibition there is 15 artists, and in total since 2020 there is almost 50 collaboration.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
That's serious.
Yes, that's really serious.
Yeah. And sorry for asking, but I'm a man, and given the nature of this podcast and the club that we run, I'm interested in hearing the numbers behind it and how it works and what is the business of a gallery and you. Can you answer that?
You don't need to be a man to ask that question.
That's true.
So, as a woman who run this gallery, and speaking about the number, it's too early to speak about that. The collection started, the physical collection started the beginning of this year, and this is my first official exhibition. And before it was digital and for sale online, and I sold few of them. So I decided to change the business model.
Yeah. And so what is the business model?
It's at this moment people are creating the helmet. And then I exhibited punctually in different spaces.
Okay. But do you get paid for people to visit? Do you sell?
Every pieces are for sale. So in addition to the helmets, I also sell the artwork. So we select together 2 to 4 artwork. And we share the revenue.
Okay. And for my example, the artwork is the painting you're talking about, or is that the helmet as well that you are referring to?
I'm referring to both.
So both are for sale?
Yes, both are for sale. And I agree with the artist to sell them both.
Ah, okay.
And share.
And can I ask how much does something like this go for?
So the minimum of the painting or of artwork is starting at 2,000, and it go up to 10,500. And for the sculpture, there is also a collaboration with a gallery, and so there is a sculpture which is 34,000.
Okay.
This one, the Three Graces.
This one,
Mm-hmm.
the gold, that's useful, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah. And you take a percentage when something gets sold.
Yes.
May I ask how much is a usual? What is a common percentage for a curator?
Between 40 to 50%.
Oh, that is a reasonable. Well, it's a good amount of percentage because they create it and you do all the work.
I do all the work. I find as well the sponsor and the places. I do the communication, the marketing. Most of it.
And how do you determine if an artwork is going to be worth putting in your gallery? And
I worked previously in a gallery when I was living in Paris. I worked in marketing as well. I have background of communication and product design. So I have my eyes, and I feel what can be commercially sold easily or not.
Yeah,
I have the eyes.
You have the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
not the eyes of the tiger, but the eyes.
No, but experience must be a.
Yes, it's really important.
Yeah. So for an artwork as well. It might be very related to the previous question, but how do you determine what something is worth?
Again, my background in art and also, previously I did many researches in art auctions as well. And so I've always been interested in art, and so and I did a lot of research and veille. How do we say veille en anglais?
Sorry?
Veille. Let's say research.
I get it. Sorry. It must be very difficult, I can imagine, because it's very subjective art, I think.
It's as difficult as a startup, as a new concept, new project. So you have to recreate it from scratch. So when there is a new product in the market, you make research, you make benchmarking. All these things are part of the project.
Yeah.
So you have to do your homework.
Yeah, no, you do. No, but in my at least I believe, that is my models, let's say. So I don't have your experience, but what I can typically observe is that someone gets paid a very good amount of money because they have built a brand. So
Yes.
they have created, established their name, and that is basically the entire worth of the piece that they try to sell. Is that kind of true or not at all?
A brand name and value is relative. Some brands are built in long term, more than decades. If you look at the past of Chanel, it's this success story. It's the root of it is it's amazing. She came from scratch and she built an empire, but it took decades and decades. So I believe that it can happen in a long term in order to be sustainable. So of course it won't be built in 1 or 3 years. If you look at the stat again, you have most of the company which failed after 3 years. I've been more than 3 years in the field, so I'm quite optimistic.
I'm optimistic for you as well. And so do you have to rent this gallery?
Yes.
For my understanding, or is this something that Monaco, for example, invests in to actually?
At this moment, I don't have an agreement with the Principauté of Monaco. I hope they will find the project interesting enough to invest in it. At this moment, the place is rented. I have other collaboration, one with a 5-star Samoritz hotel. And the collaboration is different. I invest their public spaces, and we share a part of the commission.
Sounds like a good deal.
Yes, that's a good deal too.
Now, when does it? Do you have already agreed on
the date? Yes.
The date?
The date is the 25th of September for 2 weeks, and it happens simultaneously with the Automotive Vintage Week.
All right.
It's already filled, the hotel and the places.
So
it's massive there.
Exposure.
Yes, I think too.
Is there some good exposure here in Monaco that I want?
It can be, and at this moment, since the 2nd of July, there is Monaco Art Week, which has started, and it ends the 7th of July.
Yeah.
So it can be a good exposure too. It brings amateur and connoisseur of art.
Yeah, that's just the exact.
And just before, it was the end of the Grand Prix. So some people were still in here.
Yeah. And how do you usually market the pieces of art or your gallery? What do you do to attract people?
Many ways, in fact. I'm most of the time I'm being really creative, like contacting you, for instance.
Already regret that?
No, at the opposite. It challenged me to. It pushed my limit, like I was telling to your colleague. I don't have the habit of speaking in front of the camera, and that's something that I want to improve.
Yeah, you are doing it. So.
Thank you.
And so what is next for you? You already gave a glimpse of what you are working on, but what is next for you?
The next, with so the next for me would be to have the fundraising for the technology.
Yeah.
And the next phase would be to have more sponsor covering different other disciplines like motorcycle, also racing cars. So my objective with the House of Helmet is to build a company that is the reference on any type of helmet, on quality helmets.
All right. Yeah, because your company is called House of Helmet.
Yes.
Okay. So it will be always around helmets, I assume.
The base will be around helmet.
Very interesting.
Helmets are in so many disciplines, like I said earlier, and also this is a common object in all the world. And from children to elderly people, it speaks to everyone.
Yeah. Should protect our
Head.
heads.
Yes, it's one of the most important part of the body.
Yeah, it is. What is it that you would like to share with me that we haven't discussed yet? Is there anything that you want to talk about?
There is nothing that come in mind. I wish I would have thought about that earlier.
It's just a question that comes to mind. Yeah, I may have missed something.
No,
But I think we've covered a lot. It's very interesting because I don't know your business, I don't know your industry. I've only visited a couple of artists and some galleries, and I always wondered kind of the questions that I asked. How does it work? I mean, how do you make it work? But you explained that.
Yes, it started from helmet that I was covering them with leather, and I switched it to collaboration with artists. I find it more relevant and interesting to play with, and it's also a way for the people to relate more easily. Each artist has his own community and universe.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Well, I will. Now, in September, you are in Nice, right? Was it?
No, it's St. Moritz. St. Moritz in Switzerland.
Ah, right. I won't see you there then. But let me know when you are back.
Okay, I will.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Joshua.
Thanks.